Welcome back for what is part 3 of my adventure with RawHyde Adventures. For this part we're heading out into Death Valley. This is what they call their midwinter adventure ride, and it started out the first couple days with what you saw in video number 2, if you've watched that, which was Base Camp Alpha and riding the Mojave Desert. Well, for part 3 what we do is our group goes back to Base Camp Alpha after everybody else goes back to RawHyde Adventures training camp, and we stay one more night in the crisp air of the Mojave Desert, and then we headed out the next morning to go see Panamint and Death Valleys. So we woke up to another 20-something degree morning. Fortunately, since everybody else had left, I borrowed an extra sleeping bag, threw that on top of me, got some hand warmers and foot warmers, put them all over my body, and I stayed nice and warm. So we gathered up with our small group, which was just 3 of us to start this portion of the ride, and headed out to the valley. Heading out from Base Camp Alpha, we headed over into Panamint Valley. Here we're just finishing up our climb and getting our first look down into the valley. Absolutely gorgeous. And our first opportunity is a pull out here where we decided to stop, take some pictures, and just take in the view. So after cruising for a while, we pulled off the highway and looked at these monuments pointing us towards the Ballarat Ghost Town. And so we decided to take a few pictures of the monument. It also talked about another place called Panamint City that's located up on a ridge. And there's like a piece of copper pipe there that you can look through like a telescope, and it points your way up to Panamint City if you wanted to go up there. So after taking a look at this, we decided to head down the dirt road and see what the ghost town looked like. So apparently when you normally roll into Ballarat, you're just looking at the Panamint Valley and the desert to your left and your right. But with all the rains, we really had, I guess, Lake Ballarat on both sides of us. Made it look like I should have some fishing gear with me. As we pulled into the ghost town, we could see the remains of some of the foundations and some of the old buildings, which were mostly made of adobe clay. And for example, with the rain that we just had down there, you could see where even more and more of the places started to disintegrate. So took a little ride around the town to see what was there, and then jumped off the bike to take a bunch of pictures. So we got to turn off the asphalt and we were heading up to the Minnetonka mine site. And this road, if you want to call it that, was one of the highlights of the trip. Really loose, steep, rocky, technical stuff. Real challenge to get up there, bouncing around, trying not to damage a rim or something like that, but it was worth the view once we got to the top. Enjoy. This site was amazing. It was in such great condition. The views were amazing, and actually being able to go into the cabin, take a look around at everything, walk around the place, it was quite an experience, and it'll stay with me forever. Yeah, I know we were in the desert and everything, but you know, when we looked around, yeah, we saw sand, but it was you know, like coarse sand and rocks and some brush and all that, and then just all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, was pure talcum powder sand dunes. It was amazing to see. Walk around, it just kicked up the dust everywhere. There was no way you could ride a motorcycle in it. I think it would sink in no time. Fortunately, that was not allowed anyway. That didn't stop some people, as you'll see, trying to get their SUV into the sand. So we rolled into Furnace Creek, which was going to be our place of stay for the next couple days, and it's a little self-contained town, a little oasis out in the middle of nowhere. It's got a bar, a general store, some restaurants, gas station, a museum, and even has its post office, which is, I guess, what puts it on the map as an official town. Since this was a small group doing the midwinter adventure, we each ended up getting our own cabin, which was really nice to be able to just kind of spread out, dry my gear, and not worry about noise and such from having a roommate. So when we rolled into Ryolite, the first place we saw was this house made of bottles. I have no idea why, if it was just for tourists or if there was some crazy person out in the desert, but it was pretty wacky. When we were told that we were going to roll into a cemetery and check it out, I really didn't know what to expect, being that, to me this isn't that old, but I guess for the West, it's a pretty old place and an old cemetery. But what surprised us as we walked around and looked at places, we found that some of the people that had been born there, in the early 1900s, late 1800s, had come back. And this is where they wanted to be buried, even into the 80s. It was quite amazing to see that people had that kind of attachment to where they grew up. While the gate was closed, I did walk in a bit to take a look around at the Slot Canyon, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And my understanding is, this stretch is 20-something miles long of riding to get to it and then go through it. So absolutely on my list to come back and do this again when the weather's better and there's no snow blocking the road. This crater was fantastic. The colors from the crater walls were amazing. And there were hiking trails that you could go all the way around it if you wanted. We didn't do that with our motorcycle boots on, but you could also walk all the way down. Apparently this was from like a implosion, like steam and stuff, and it imploded. But quite the sight to see.
That shit's loose. Look your toes, wild ride, dude. This is where the light fight comes. It's too fucking hot. Yeah, see if I can turn this beast around. There's a lot of big rocks here. Wow. Whew. See if I can turn around. Holy crap!
How'd you like it, man?
Dude!
How'd you do with this and through all that thick stuff?
I'd stand and then it'd get crazy. I'd drop and paddle. I'd stand. I'd drop.
Oh, really?
A couple times it just instantly buried the rear wheel.
Really?
And I had to put the feet down and rock it out of it and then try to pop back up.
Really?
Oh man, it was
cool.
Deep.
That's very cool, man.
Wow.
All right, guys. Ready, Jim? Ready to go. Thank you.
I was just awestruck when we got to Badwater Basin. To be that far below sea level, but actually looking at the salt flats, the salt marsh, these huge chunks of salt and water. I can't imagine anything living in that water. Salt was everywhere. As we drove in, it was on the boardwalk. It was a completely awe-inspiring sight. Our last adventure of the trip was going to the Burrow-Schmidt mine. And when we turned off onto this road, there was some water, and I kind of hoped that things would be a little bit hard-packed and we'd be able to cruise on in, because it's about 9 miles to get back there. But it wasn't very far into this trail that it just became very technical. Yes, it was mostly wide, but went from deep sands, gullies, rocks, big climb up, big climbs down, crossings from where water would wash stuff out, trying to pop the front wheel over. It was above my skill level. I learned a lot doing it, and there was a huge reward at the end checking out the tunnel. So this is the end of the midwinter adventure and my adventures down in California with RawHyde Adventures. I had a fantastic time, learned a lot, made a ton of great new friends. Thank you everybody. Take care. Keep the rubber side down.